DJ Erica.
Welcome to another episode of DJ Erica Podcast. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If it's your first time listening, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you guys hit the notification bell to all, because YouTube is real funny acting. And we're going to talk about YouTube and how us YouTubers seems to be under attack by this platform that we call YouTube. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff has been going on lately. Like Funky Dineva just got his account deleted and suspended out of nowhere over a video from 6.5 years ago, you know. And then we got all this other drama going on the YouTube platform, y'all. This is the reason why I decided to, like, when I decided to put this podcast together, I just started really going hard, like promoting my podcast on like Spotify and other audio outlets and stuff like that. And I'm figuring out the business side of things on how to be able to bring in revenue, because at the end of the day, if you have viewership, you could bring in revenue, right? So I just been really focusing on building my viewership on all the other outlets and using my podcast host to get my stats and working on different things, a way to get sponsors versus me solely depending on YouTube, because it's just been a lot going on. But anyway, if you guys are new to this, I talk about celebrity entertainment. I talk about celebrity news, gossip, and stuff like that. If you guys like that, make sure you guys, like I said, subscribe right now. We're going to get into a lot of topics. We're going to get back and get to talking about YouTube. But first, I want to talk about the list of hot topics today. We're going to talk about T.I. and Tiny. This is Tyre's situation, this sex allegation scandal that's been going on. This shit has literally hit the fan today, because they basically, it's been released that they've suspended production of T.I. and Tiny's show on VH1. And you guys know what that show is. It's the Friends and Family Hustle show. And that also has like LaToya Luckett and a few other well-known people on there. Monica was on there at one point. I don't think she's still on the show. But this situation is definitely hurting the pocketbooks of not only T.I. and Tiny, but a lot of people and their friends, you know what I mean? And of course, Tiny and T.I. is denying allegations, but there's so many different things going on. And even on top of that, now one of the accusers decided to get an attorney, and Lisa Bloom is involved. And you guys know when Lisa Bloom is involved, shit is about to go down. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it real. She like represents every woman who comes out with a sexual allegation towards a high profile celebrity or just a high profile person. So, you know, the whole thing is just starting to get real sticky real fast. And it's been situations going on with YouTubers and stuff like that, going back and forth with people that's allegedly involved in the situation, and they're trying to get other folks' YouTube channels accounts suspended, which is leading me back to what my first statement was about the importance of literally making sure that I have my other outlets and audio outlets to really fully speak up, because it's hard to produce a podcast on YouTube and just having a full open forum on YouTube, because it's like you can't really fully speak on certain subjects the way that you want to, because you have to edit it and stuff like that, because you could get flagged or people could try to attack your account and try to find any reason to make a report to YouTube about your page. And unfortunately, someone who became a victim of that situation was Funky Dineva. All right, so it's just been a lot going on, and I'm going to talk about everything on there. But let's just get back. Before we get back into that, we're going to also talk about Nick Cannon getting his show back on Wild 'N Out. And, you know, he basically just lost his show last year because of his anti-Semitic statements on his podcast. He rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and I guess he decided to apologize and everything else, and now he has his show back. And that's also causing a lot of you know, disruptions and stuff like that, and people going back and forth on Twitter on whether it was the best thing for Nick Cannon to apologize and try to get his career and everything else back in order, or whether he had just stayed by his statements and tried to do everything independently. You know, and personally, like I said, that's a situation where I'm not going to really give my opinion on it. I'm just going to discuss what has happened for my own purposes and reasons. All right, but anyways, outside of that, let's finish talking about this T.I. and Tiny situation, because it's just like so many people that's starting to be affected by this. And it's at the point where we got people getting their YouTube accounts terminated and things of that nature, and it's just a coincidence. Not saying that these are facts, but remember, during my show I talk about things and everything is alleged. Allegedly. Everything I talk about is allegations, okay? And that's something I have to do to protect my brand and my platform. I can't just flat out and be like, oh, this is facts. So remember, this is all alleged, okay? If I don't say allegedly a million times, remember, at the beginning of the show, I said allegedly. So everything I talk about topic is all alleged, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so back to T.I. and Tiny, catching you guys up. I'm pretty sure you guys heard about the whole situation. A former assistant of T.I. and Tiny named Sabrina Peterson stepped forward after T.I. had received a job from Keisha Lance Bottoms in Atlanta to basically be the head of what they call, I think it was like anti-violence and stuff like that in Atlanta, and in an apartment, basically trying to reform violence in Atlanta. Sabrina Peterson got wind of this, and she basically came out on social media and basically accused T.I. of basically harming her, attempting to harm her, and pulling a gun to her head and putting a gun to her head and threatening her, and from there she made a list of allegations against that. And of course, T.I. and Tiny, at first they didn't really reply back. They kind of denounced it, but it wasn't moving. Next thing you know, a list of women just started to come out of nowhere on the web, making allegations against T.I. and Tiny, saying that they were having sexual encounters with them, and T.I. and Tiny was holding women against their will, threatening them, giving them death threats and stuff like that if they came out and said or did certain things following their encounters with each other. It was just so many different things. And on my last podcast, you guys want to hear the actual statements from the women, go to the previous podcast that I just put up, which is episode 48 of the podcast, and you'll hear all those statements. But it just basically has built up so much. And most of these celebrities out here, they don't really like to talk about situations. And media training back in the day, they usually would say, if a rumor is going around, just don't speak about it and it'll go away. But in this day and age of social media, a rumor just doesn't go away. You know what I mean? They'll hound a celebrity. Instead of them, letting it die down, most people are going to go straight to their Instagram page, go in their DMs, harass them, make certain remarks and statements to them and stuff like that, about the situation, and ask them like, yo, is this true? Is this and this? Then you get harassed in your DMs, you get people commenting at the bottom. So I'm pretty sure, and I mean, they have kids too. You know what I mean? So we don't know if people was hitting up at their kids or anything like that, harassing them about it. But these are things that happen sometimes when there's situations and messy situations going on. So T.I. decided to go on social media and address the claims in an 8-minute video where he didn't really, he denied harming anybody, but he kind of was just more so, like I said in the last episode, more so just like, oh, we don't have everybody else in our bedroom. What I do in my bedroom is my business, stuff like that. So it wasn't more so him denouncing, saying like, I absolutely haven't done anything. But he was kind of like, he was saying it, but he was also saying like, yeah, it's a possibility that they done things with other women and stuff like that. But what he was basically saying is that it was mutual and it was consensual and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Which could be a good or a bad thing if you think about it. I mean, I don't know why his lawyer, I don't know if he has anybody advising him. I would assume that T.I. does, because he comes off, his whole entire family seems so tight-knit that I know he has to have a publicist or somebody who is directing this entire thing and telling him how to handle the public, because they had a spokesperson come out and deny the claims. But long story short, I don't think that helped him much. I think it kind of like backfired, okay? And that led to where we're at right now, where basically he said he was going to seek legal action to sue them and stuff like that. And these women that was accusing them weren't playing. One of them went down to Lisa Bloom and got picked up. And they got a case now. So this is going into a legal situation, which, since this has been announced that Lisa Bloom is representing these women or one of the women that's involved, this has led to VH1 and Viacom making the decision to pull the plug or suspend. It could be a temporary suspension. It could be a permanent suspension. But we do know that the show has been canceled and suspended, according to sources. According to Deadline, the person that made the report, and this has been spreaded through all of the major blogs are reporting this, and news sites are reporting this, urban news sites, that they've decided to pull the plug. Now, I do have an excerpt from Deadline, and they basically was just saying this was an exclusive, and they said over the past week, of course, they had the whole sex trafficking issue, this, and this, and basically, according to sources, the decision was to pause the production was actually made mutually by MTV Entertainment and T.I. and Tamika Harris, of course, T.I. and Tiny. They said they are continuing. They said I hear also they are on hold and have previously announced plans to record in the spring. So they basically were going to record the newest season in the spring, but they paused an entire production on that until all this whole thing is situated. So it's definitely getting crazy. Now, Shekinah, the best friend of Tiny. Okay, remember she went on social media and had made some statements and kind of was like trying to come at Sabrina Peterson, but she kind of like mistakenly told on Tiny a little bit, allegedly, you know what I mean? And I guess it started going through the web about people talking about her and stuff like that, and she tried to recant her statements, like, you know, fix the situation, and unfortunately for her, nobody believed her. Okay, so every other podcast, news sites, and everything else was basically blasting Shekinah and basically trying to, you know, accuse her of also being involved with this entire alleged sex ring that's been going on with T.I. and Tiny. Now, since Shekinah is upset, all right, she basically attacked the YouTuber and podcaster Lovely T for talking about the situation, and she put out a video on Instagram basically saying that she has a lawyer on deck that's going to be going through YouTube and stuff, basically YouTube, because that's where I think that's the only place that the lawyer could get things taken down at, is basically YouTube. But basically send her lawyers down to the YouTube and start harassing these other black YouTuber influencers and tea spillers, podcasters, whatever you want to call them, people that talk about media and stuff like that. And the coincidence, the weirdest thing is that yesterday, the day before, which is Thursday, the blogger and, you know, I'm a commentator on YouTube, Funky Dineva account was shut down. Now, this is only a few days after he put up an actual video about Shekinah and T.I. and Tiny and everything else, and his page got taken down. And this led to people, this is not me saying that she did it, but this led to people down on the internet to think that Shekinah had something to do with it, or she may have put a report out on his page. According to Funky Dineva, what happened was somebody put a report out on a video that he did 6 years ago, where he was trying to sell supplements and stuff like that for people to use, but they were basically saying that it was illegal for him to sell those supplements because it wasn't approved by the FDA and some other stuff. So they had literally terminated his entire channel. His channel was completely gone. But he ended up getting help from other YouTubers that forwarded him a lawyer. All right, and the lawyer ended up getting his shit back up within, I would say, 12 hours of his site being took it down. So his site, as soon as his site went down, I would say I would have gave it like 10 hours, less than that, his site was back up. Okay, so according to Lovely T, the thing that I had said on the web is that she was basically saying that at this point, allegedly, Shekinah has been targeting her and other influencers and trying to get their pages taken down, trying to get their pages flagged and stuff like that for discussing a situation. And it's like, to me, I feel like I don't think she should be attacking us smaller, or, you know, YouTubers for having a opinion on a situation that she put fully on blast on the internet. She decided to get on IG Live and discuss this, and it wasn't Funky Dineva the first person to speak of it. It wasn't Lovely T to be the first person to speak of it. It was actually the Shade Room. The Shade Room has 22 million followers, okay? More than that. I know it's over 22 million subscribers on that page, and I didn't hear anything about the Shade Room being taken down. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, and that's a good point that, you know, Lovely T had made on her show when I was listening to it. And that do make, it's like, you would think that she would try to come for the Shade Room and try to sue them, because they're the ones that decided to share the video that she made on her IG Live and basically blast the whole thing out, that she basically either misspoke or mistakenly told on her friend. So to me, it's just so messy. That she would take her time and basically try to get a lawyer to tear down platforms that people work very, very hard to build over the years. You know what I mean? And it's been causing a lot of issues. And these are not just the only issues. And I'm just talking about like YouTube in general. There's been a lot of people being attacked, especially black influencers that's on the YouTube platform, getting their channels flagged, getting their channels ripped down, people getting demonetized. I actually seen a post from Nikki Gilbert, who's an R&B singer. I think she was in Brownstone, and she was basically under Funky Dineva's post talking about basically YouTube had flagged her. I think she got demonetized. I don't think her account was terminated, but I think they demonetized her for something, and they said that it was too controversial and stuff like that. It's just getting really, really bad. And that's the reason why I've been more so focusing on like doing like my podcast and really focusing on pushing the audio of my podcast, because I have my blog site I could work on. I have my own platform. You know what I'm saying? And like when you on YouTube, I dealt with it. To be honest with you guys, I had got demonetized in the beginning of January, and I had to do basically the same thing Funky Dineva did, and had to have some discussions and stuff like that made, and they brought my channel back on, and I actually basically represented my damn self. I had evidence. It's like, you guys have basically F my account over and demonetized me with no real evidence and stuff like that. So, you know, they had me send over 300 something videos. You guys see how big this channel is, okay? My channel would be basically almost at 1 million views right now, my channel. But because of the whole YouTube situation that I had to delete a ton of videos. So now it says I only have like 120,000 hits on this page, and overall I was almost at 600,000 hits on the page at the time of having to delete my videos. Now when you delete the videos, YouTube take those views from you like they never existed, and it also decrease your watch hours. So at first they tried to present it to me, it was like, yo, we're gonna demonetize your channel, and then you could get remonetized in February or something like that. But you gotta make sure that you still have 4,000 listening hours, and you still have X amount of subscribers. The subscribers I'm not tripping about. Listening hours I wasn't tripping about neither, because I was getting a lot of views. But see, I decided to try to clean my page up, and then I started noticing that all of a sudden my views was dropping along with my watch hours. I'm sitting there looking like, what in the world is going on? You know what I mean? So it's just been a lot going on like on this platform, and which is the reason why I'm really focusing more so on Spotify and all the other audio outlets to build my brand. And hell, if I had to, I'll just do my podcast independently of all of these streamers, because I don't know what time they on. But it's something that with the whole Funky Dineva situation, with him getting his account suspended and everything else, I had commented on his page, and I basically was trying to explain something to him. And I know that he probably didn't see it or whatever, because he got a ton of people commenting. But my suggestion for him is that he just needs to start making his own platform. And I feel like a lot of these YouTubers out here, they have so much to say and everything else. I feel like they need better business advisory. Like me, as a person in the music industry, I see how quickly things could be taken away from you. You know what I'm saying? If you're using somebody else's platform to build it. There's nothing wrong with using other people's platform to build your name and stuff like that, which could lead to revenue and stuff like that. But you also want to make sure you have your own platform, which is why as soon as I made my podcast, I basically made my website, you guys. Like I didn't waste my time. I didn't sit there and be like, okay, well, eventually I'll get this together, this, and this. I literally was like, okay, if I'm going to make a podcast, I got to make a website. And that's to make sure that my stuff is secure. So just in case YouTube just all of a sudden just be like, F you, and shut it down, I have copies of all my videos anyway. So I can just upload it to my website, and I can just get it started over again with all of my material I already have. But it's important that people get their own websites. And I know Funky Dineva is saying, oh, people don't go on vlogs and this and this. I'm proof that people still read blogs. A lot of people read blogs and gossip and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But to me, what his caliber, he got almost like, I would say, was it 340,000 subscribers? He could probably just like make his own network and have everybody pay $1 subscription. Think about it like this, when I'm counting the numbers, right? If he charged people $2 on a subscription, and he just got a smart web designer, you know what I'm saying? These is free thoughts. This is something that I probably should be charging somebody thousands and thousands of dollars for my thoughts and ideas, maybe millions. This is just common sense though. That might not be too common. If you charge one person, you got 300,000 followers on YouTube, and these are loyal supporters. If you decide to say, yo, I'm doing a $1.75 subscription every month, you'll be able to get all the exclusive gossip and news that you want from me. People paying $1, that's going to give you like $350,000 before taxes. And then if you get them 50K, you're going to have $300,000 to play with, man. And that's the same thing. $2, $5 subscriptions, you could be making almost $1 million off your own platform. And then you add on to that with sponsors and everything else, there's so much money to be made. But see, I be thinking, I'm ahead of myself. I'm a thinker. You know, I believe in myself. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the type of stuff that I was thinking when Funky Dineva said, oh, they deleted my channel, because it should never get to that point. The only person that I seen that literally took their power back and decided to make their own network was Trey Melvin. You know, and he was a commentator that did a lot of comedy shows and stuff like that. And I guess YouTube had switched up and people wasn't making the same amount of money. He decided to make his own platform and have people subscribe and stuff like that. I don't know how well that's doing, because he had an accident last year and that basically halted everything, but he definitely premiered it. So yeah, I feel like a lot of black influencers, we might have to take the same step. And there's nothing wrong with keeping your podcast on YouTube to help promote it, but you want to like, kind of like how Lovely T is doing. I see what Lovely T is doing, which is very smart. She's doing like mini clips of her podcast, and then she's telling everybody to go on Spotify and go on Apple to listen to the rest. And I know that she's making money off of that platform. I know that she got sponsors and everything else. She's getting her money either way. She's eating it away. So that means that she's going to still get her YouTube check. She ain't got to be too salacious on the YouTube platform. She's able to give the people what they want, which is a little something, oh, this is going on. And her fan base is almost 1 million people. So if Lovely T decided, like I said before, she decided to say, you know what, I'm going to take my platform to the next level. And she says to them, yo, it's going to be a $1 subscription. Forget Patreon. Everybody's talking about Patreon. Oh, I'm going to talk about Patreon too, about Joe Budden and Patreon too. He did a big deal with them. And and that's $1 billion platform. And big up to him for doing that. But I feel like us as black entrepreneurs and bloggers and everything else, and media companies, because I'm a media company. I got DJJ Erica LLC is up in the house, y'all. For real. Us as media brands and media influencers and stuff like that, we have to start thinking bigger than what these platforms are giving us. Because kind of like what they say, God giveth and God taketh away. That's pretty much the same scenario when it comes to going on somebody else's platform like YouTube. They could give you the power and they could take it away at any moment. Like, imagine Funky Dineva, right? He got his own podcast. He got his own stuff going on, and they just take it. What if his account never got revived? What if he was not able to get an attorney, or the attorney he had sucked? You know how much money he would have lost? And that in itself could be a lawsuit. If they really instead of warning him, I feel like they should have maybe flagged him, gave him a warning, a strike. YouTube used to do strikes and stuff on their accounts. They don't even strike people no more. They just flat out take shit down. Like, they just like, yo, it's a wrap. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? Any other person out there that's trying to blog and YouTube and all that stuff, y'all, I'm pre-warning y'all what it is, okay? And hopefully they don't come and flag my account for me talking about this stuff and everything else. But I just want to talk and like, you know, get deeper with the viewers and the people that's out there, that, because I see a lot of people, y'all inbox me every day. And I know y'all don't go unnoticed, and people hit me up like, yo, you inspire me. I see you, the work that you're doing is just so inspiring. And I'm glad that I'm inspiring people, but I also don't want to fool y'all and make y'all think that doing this and building a podcast is easy. Like I said before, it's 2 a.m. It's 2:30 in the morning right now, and I'm recording this. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to sit here and talk for 2-3 hours about different topics and everything else. To build a brand and platform, it takes a lot of time. And me, I'm determined. You know what I'm saying? I'm determined. I have number goals in my head. So like, I'm sitting here like, yo, I could just not record tonight, but then I'm sitting there thinking like, yo, this audio could be put out tonight. Like, why would I hold off on things I need to say? You know what I'm saying? When I got a fan base, I legit have grown my fan base grassroots, working my ass off. You know what I mean? And when you're doing that, you're like other social media influencers like myself, or Funky Dineva, or Lovely T, and all these other people that's out there that's doing this work. You guys, we have to be smarter. We can't just let it make it so these people can just take everything from us in a blink of an eye. You have to start outsourcing yourself and find one safe space that can't nobody take away from you, which is creating your own website, learning how to do graphic design, learning how to do web design. I know how to do graphic design. I know how to do web design. Between me, I made my own website. I literally did from myself. And it wasn't, oh, the simple, let me go to Wix.com. I'm not knocking nobody who's doing that, but it's literally made my website myself. You understand me? So a lot of influencers out there, we can spend all day tracking out celebrities. We can spend all day, you know, figuring out what the hell they doing. We need to figure out what we're doing, okay? And try to make sure that our platforms are secure so we don't have to be dealing with that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Another person I know who do their own live streams off of their own website is Kaya as well. She do her gags and roast on there because YouTube definitely would terminate her account for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? She just can't even be on the YouTube platform because she, you know, the stuff that she say be just too much for them. But anyway, let me get to the next subject. So like I said earlier, Nick Cannon's show is coming back, Wildin' Out. I know a lot of people is wondering when that show was going to be coming back. Or whether it was going to come back because it got canceled last year after Nick Cannon decided to go on his podcast, and he had did a podcast with Professor Griff from Public Enemy, and he basically was making what they said was anti-Semitic statements. And today it was released that, according to Source magazine, that Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out is set to return. It says in the statement, Viacom, CBS, and Nick Cannon have reestablished a working relationship. Variety reported the rekindling came after the efforts of Nick Cannon the rekindling came after the efforts of Nick Cannon to engage and partner with Jewish leaders and make amends for anti-Semitic statements made this past summer. The past episodes of the show are set to return to the screen this week, and new episodes are to be set to be in production in the near future. Nick has not only apologized and taken responsibility for his comments, but he has also worked to educate himself on others through engagement with Jewish leaders and on his platforms. An MTV Entertainment Group spokesperson told Variety, those efforts are of the utmost importance. That's why we have invited him to rejoin our team. On a separate note, we just learned that he tested positive for COVID and have reached out to him, wishing him a speedy recovery. So, you know, that's going to be going on. I wonder how many people are still going to watch it. Because it's just so many, this situation has divided a lot of people. I'm going to reserve my comments about it, but I'm going to say that the whole situation is divisive, and when it comes to race and everything else, and with black people and white people and everything else on Twitter, the way they were going back and forth, I don't even know what the viewership is going to look like, because, you know, Nick Cannon has lost on both sides here. He's lost a lot of fans when it comes to, you know, his white audience or whatever, because of the statements that he made. But he's also lost a lot of black fans because of him apologizing for the statements that he made. So I personally, even though I have no comment about the situation, I personally want to see whether Nick Cannon can actually keep the same ratings that he did before, because with him losing so many people supporting on both sides of the fence, of the racial fence, it makes you wonder, is it possible for them to still have a successful show, even though, you know what I mean, his show is coming back and they've decided to forgive him, and he made those statements, you know, apologizing for the statements that he made on his platform. So y'all, I just want to know what y'all think about it, and you know, comment below, or like I said, make sure you guys leave a rating. You know what I'm saying? You can leave a rating if you're on Apple Podcasts, and leave an actual review comment about the situation. I want to know what y'all think about this whole situation with Nick Cannon. I mean, I've seen Twitter, and it's been like a race war on Twitter, with people going back and forth about it, and people saying, you know, if he was, you know, white, he still wouldn't get his show back. People saying that, you know, black people are saying he's a sellout. It's just a lot going on with the whole situation with Nick Cannon. But like I said, I have no opinions on that. You tell me what y'all think about that situation, and I want y'all to argue amongst yourselves, and then I'm gonna read y'all statements and stuff like that, and I might reply back. In other news outside of that, Joe Budden, okay, and let me just give a shout out to Joe Budden, because Joe Budden, have inspired me to move forward with my platform and my podcast, and I'm not gonna deny it. You know, a lot of people out there don't like Joe Budden because of the stuff that they see on Love and Hip Hop and this and this, but I gotta give the man his props, okay? Because when it comes to transitioning from rapper to host to podcaster, he is like literally the all-star leader of this shit. And the stuff that he's done and continues to do for the hip-hop culture, the urban culture, and, you know, podcasting itself is phenomenal. For him to not have sold out, for him to really believe in himself enough to not partner with those already built networks and really say, I'm going to do this by myself. I'm going to take my smaller team and build this thing from the ground up and make it huge, you know, is really honorable. You know, he was with Spotify, and Spotify decided not to compensate him or the monies that he felt like he deserved. And also Spotify was doing some funny business, they said, on their behalf when it came to his views and everything else. And then they gave the money that he felt he deserved, they gave it to Joe Rogan. And a lot of people was trying to see like if it was a racial thing, but I have like reviewed the stats of Joe Budden's and Joe Rogan's podcast, and Joe Rogan's numbers are way higher, you know what I mean? Which is probably expected because the Joe Budden podcast is targeted towards more of an urban audience, and even though the urban audience is huge, getting that crossover audience helps to really staple and keep a show running, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said before, amazing platform. And because of his works, you know, Joe Budden ended up getting a better deal because Spotify didn't want to see his worth. They didn't want to compensate him for that. He decided to move forward and strike it out on his own, and it ended up being worth it because he basically just got a job working as like I think it's like a director or advisor of Patreon, which is like taking podcasting to the next level. They made a completely thing, basically making it so podcasters will be able to make a lot of money doing what they do. And it actually, YouTube better watch their back. That's what I can say before I even get into that, because I'm gonna read the entire story about Joe Budden and exactly how the deal went about, because he announced it on his podcast a few days ago. But YouTube got to really watch their back, because like YouTube wants to silence everybody on their platform. YouTube wants everybody to make fake pranks on their platform. They want everybody to have a jolly good time. At first, they made it so the platform was open for everybody to talk and give their opinions. But at this time, YouTube is really OD censoring everything to the point where it's just like you're scared to say things. You guys, I wanted to like put live clips and stuff like that and stuff like that on my videos, but that was one of the reasons why I got demonetized. And they were saying that you had common ground use and everything else, but they demonetized me for showing commentary and speaking on it, like a ton of other YouTubers already do. So, I mean, if YouTube continue to go down the route that they're doing, blocking people, there's going to be a lot of people leaving YouTube to go to Patreon. And Patreon is giving people freedom to speak, because they know podcast is the space and a place and a safe place for people to talk and say the things that they really want to say and be able to get their voice out without feeling like they have to censor themselves, you know. And YouTube is saying, oh yeah, we want some of you, but we don't want you to talk about the real deep subject. We're going to flag your account. We're going to mess up your money. We're going to do things that we can do to prevent that from happening. So I feel like the deal that Joe Budden is doing is a very smart move, and I feel like it's going to definitely help to start a brand new wave of culture when it comes to podcasters like myself and other podcasters out there with big platforms like Lovely T and everything else. I think Lovely T is already on Patreon, but I feel like she might just take her entire business off of YouTube if they wasn't paying her so well and bring it elsewhere. Same thing with Funky Dineva. A lot of influencers are going to be start slowly migrating their brand elsewhere because of the stuff that YouTube is doing. And unfortunately, that's what they want, you know, if that's how they're going to treat the people that's helping them build them up, you know, all platforms don't last forever. You know what I'm saying? It's like an evolving door. But anyways, let me finish reading about this whole thing with Joe Budden. So 5 months, it says via Billboard, 5 months after yanking his blockbuster shows from Spotify amid a dispute over compensation, podcasting powerhouse Joe Budden is partnering with another subscription platform that's promising artists more leverage. His signature the Joe Budden podcast with Rory and Mal and the Joe Budden Network will be hosted on Patreon. The company announced Wednesday, February 3rd, Budden will also take a title on Patreon as head of creative equity, the head of creative equity, and a new advisor role that will have him focused on making sure creators on the platform have an equal seat at the table. So this is some major stuff going on, because not only is he bringing his brand and his show over, he's bringing the entire network over there, and on top of that, he's going to be the creative be the head of creative equity, okay, and an advisor. And this brand, as he stated, is worth billions of dollars. So imagine that check. I bet you he got that check that he wanted from Spotify plus extra, because they see the value of the stuff that he's doing, and what he's doing is absolutely phenomenal, man. He got 2 additional shows outside of his own show under his own network. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I remember last year Charlemagne and Joe Budden was going back and forth about him deciding to pull his plug on Spotify and everything else because they wasn't compensating right, and Charlemagne was just giving vibes like, you know, he needs to just like, I mean the vibes that Charlemagne was giving is basically trying to be like, you know, he should just go ahead and shut up and just be an employee type of thing. And Joe Budden literally came out and said, I own this. And I mean, I'm not knocking anything that Charlemagne the God is doing. More power to him, but this is a big move for somebody who's literally independent. He's getting partners and stuff like that. He's getting the freedom that he really wants, and if he wants to, he can walk away anytime. You know, most of these big influencers, they don't have that luxury because they're tied to bigger networks like iHeart and stuff like that, and you know, of course, Viacom, CBS, and you know, all these bigger networks that own these TV shows that have a lot of influencers and you know, what you call it, radio hosts and stuff like that, that's hosting stuff, that they don't have as much freedom or the freedom at all to do things because they're owned. You know what I mean? But when you are the owner of your own platform, these are the things and the moves that you can make with confidence, and know that there won't be any messy issues or contractual issues and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty cool that Joe Budden is able to do this. Now, what else does it say on here? It says the podcast industry, continuing, I'm going to read a little bit more of this article. It says the podcast industry has seen a number of major shows shift platforms in recent years. Kicked off by the Joe Budden's podcast with Rory and Mal, locking in an exclusive pack with Spotify in 2018. Spotify, which committed to spending $500 million in 2019 to build up its podcasting division, each exclusive deals with Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and Joe Rogan, sending its shares up. Shares price up 8% on the day it was announced. Apple launched the podcast with Oprah Book Club in September, with the talks of a future paid podcast subscription service circling both companies. And Amazon, never to be left out, has launched its own slate of exclusive podcasts featuring DJ Khaled and Will Smith. Okay, in an interview with Billboard, Joe Budden said, "The more I spoke with Jack, who is the CEO of Patreon, one-on-one on the phone, and learned more about his story, I learned that we were aligned in that initiative." So yeah, so I mean, it's definitely a good look. So you know what I'm saying? He also said that it's not about the deal. This is what Jack, the CEO, said. It's not about the deal. It's about the new emerging creative company that is about companies paying creators the minimum amount that they can get away with, instead of what creators are actually worth, which is what Joe was feeling, and it's what I've been feeling for many, many years. So I mean, it looked like the CEO on Patreon is actually about spending bread and giving people what they deserve. You know what I'm saying? And seeing the value of people that's helping to make him billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that you really don't see on other platforms like YouTube and stuff like that. They're always trying to censor and shut everything down and this and this. But you know, it's cool to see that changes is slowly starting to happen on the platform and stuff like that. So you know, that is a good look right there. And back to like making your own platform, and this is something that, I mean, maybe this could be the topic of discussion, because most of the things that I spoke about so far on this podcast has been about people losing their platforms because someone else has owned their platforms, people getting their platforms torn down, and down to Joe Budden getting his platform built up. And this is the stuff that I'm trying to say to people about building their own brand. It's like, it's okay to build your own brand. It's nice to get the paperwork saying that you own your brand, but it's also smart to build your own platform. And that's the full part of initiating and really putting out to real existence that you actually run and own your stuff, which is why I need you guys to support me by going to djjericapod.com. That's djjericapod.com for celebrity news and commentary, and follow my blog. And of course, within my blogs, I put my podcast there for you guys to read all the gossip and also listen to me, man. And if you guys are on Spotify and everything else, that's fine. Subscribe, leave your ratings, and help me build this platform, because it takes a lot of time, man. I'm working very, very hard to get this stuff up and running, y'all. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about also, we're going to talk about the music of the week, man. We got a lot of different songs that have just recently come out, and I'm going to review that with you guys. All right. So, you know, I like to just go topic to topic. We're still on hour 1 here, you guys. There's so many other news and stuff that has happened. You know, one other thing I was going to talk about, Wendy Williams' husband has opened a restaurant, and everybody's like on social media going in on him, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess people like, oh, you taking her alimony money and you decided to open a restaurant and everything else. And it's been like a week, almost a week, since she had premiered her Lifetime biopic, and it's been announced a few days ago that her ex-husband Kevin Hunter has allegedly opened a restaurant out somewhere. I forgot. I think it is in New York or something, or was it Miami, somewhere or whatever. He's opened a new restaurant, and of course that full story is also on djjericapod.com. But people were trying to come up and attack him. I went on his Instagram page. People was coming at him like, oh, you taking Wendy's money and you over here starting businesses and stuff like that with that new girlfriend. And it was crazy, y'all. The internet be going mad, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, he said, yeah, the restaurant is in Brooklyn. That's where it's at, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, at least he's trying to make his own income, because it's like, if he didn't try to do something to make his own income, people are still going to be sitting there. But I mean, I guess he damned if he do, damned if he don't. I know that it's Wendy's alimony that he's living off of, whatever, and I think he's going to get that forever. But technically, he kind of helped her build it, you know what I'm saying? Because he's like her manager the entire time, and he helped to get negotiated and bills and deals and all that other stuff together. And Wendy Williams also is just like, you know, she's over the relationship, and she said that he messed up a lot of deals for her. But, you know, hopefully this will get him on his 2 feet, and this alimony that she's paying out every month could be reduced, you know what I'm saying? Because Wendy Williams worked hard for her platform. People can say whatever they want about Wendy Williams, but she's a hard worker, and she deserves all of her money. Okay, she deserves all her money, and she deserves her recognition and the work that she's done and put out for people and over the past 3 decades and stuff like that. But that biopic was definitely a good biopic, and I reviewed that too on my last podcast. So go to my other podcast and listen to that review when I talk about it. Y'all can hear my opinions on it for sure. But yeah, I mean, I kind of wish Wendy Williams, you know, if we wasn't in this pandemic, I think Wendy Williams' show or story should have been in a movie theater, and it should have been longer, and it should have been more detailed, and it should have been more interesting, you know what I mean? I feel like we should have got more in depth when it comes to her interviews and stuff like that. But hey, it is what it is. I guess that's what they wanted, and that's what Wendy wanted. She produced her, at least she was actually involved in it. Because listen, I've been mad at Wendy for a little while since she did the Aaliyah biopic, which was terrible and absolutely horrendous. But you know, it is what it is. I'm glad that her biopic came out good, because I do, you know, anybody that's out here in the urban world that say they didn't listen to Wendy Williams is a liar. Okay, I don't care what anybody say. Everybody can call her man. Everybody can say whatever they want, but anybody that say that they don't listen to Wendy Williams or never listen to Wendy Williams, this is a lie. That's all I can say. But anyways, let's get to talking about the music, new music picks of the week. As Cardi B just dropped a brand new music video, and people are saying that she plagiarized and stole from another artist, y'all. So let's get to talking about that crazy stuff right now, man. So yeah, Cardi B just dropped her brand new video and her new single, Up. Okay, and it's a thing where we're in a different stage when it comes to music, where I remember like back in the day, people would put out a single and work the single for a while and then build up all of the, you know, publicity and everything else and excitement with fans, and then drop the music video. And these days, they just drop the music video, and of course the music videos for the songs. So they premiere the song and the music video all at one time. And Cardi B dropped her video yesterday at midnight, Up. And I gotta say, you know, it's definitely a club banger. It's a fun video, real energetic. You know, Cardi B always bring energetic performances, but this particular performance was, you know, it was fun. It was lit. I enjoyed it. The song isn't as long as I thought it should have been. The song is only like 2 minutes and 50 seconds, which is like, wow. But they're saying that this is supposed to be like her first single off her upcoming sophomore album. And the last time we had an album from her, it had to have been at least, how many years has it been? Been a couple of years now. I think her first album came out in 2018. So yeah, it's been a couple of years now, a few years now. And she had WAP that she put out last year to like really just keep the fans in tune with her, whatever, in touch. But now she's coming back, and I guess she's gonna be putting out her sophomore album, and that was the first single off it. And within 24 hours, it is #1 on iTunes chart, breaking records. And the video itself on YouTube, let me just check the number, because I seen it earlier in the timeline. They were saying that it had got 8 million views in less than a day. I'm about to check it. I gotta make sure I turn the volume down on my phone, because I don't feel like getting flagged. Let me just try to fix this volume real quick. Let me just fix this volume real quick on here. Cardi B, let me see. Okay, so let's see how many views this video got. It looked like we had 10 million views in one day. So, and it's #1 trending, you know what I'm saying? If you guys can see that, it's #1 trending. So Cardi B is still doing the damn thing. And I think the thing that makes Cardi B successful is the fact that she has that crossover appeal, because she has the support of the urban black community, and she has support of course, the Latin community. And you know, the thing I noticed about the Latin community, they do not play when it comes to their music artists, and they support the hell out of their people. Like, I know it's come to like black artists, it's like, for some reason with our black legends, we just let people fall off, and we don't really support them like that. I mean, a testimony of people of Latin culture, Spanish people and stuff, Hispanic people, supporting their own people and making sure that they stay relevant is like Jennifer Lopez, because Jennifer Lopez is still hitting astronomical numbers. For her to basically have a career since like the mid 90s, when she started to act, and then of course she was on The Living Color in the early 90s, stuff like that, all the way till now. And she's like still very popular, still able to pull in a lot of views, and that happens to be because she has that you know, that Hispanic culture and the Hispanic fan base that supports heavy and supports their people heavy. So anyway, Cardi B song has gone #1, and congratulations to her. But it's also, of course, every time there's something released, new music being released, there's always some new controversy. So now there has been a rumor going around, people making claims that Cardi B stole her song from a lesser known artist, and basically Cardi B addressed it on social media, on Instagram, basically saying that the producers are the ones that bring her ideas, and then she works around those ideas, and if they have a problem, they have to take it up with the producers. But they're basically saying that the chorus Up, in like the melody and the beat and everything else, was stolen from another artist that came up with a song out in 2020. So now they're basically trying to possibly seek legal action. Now I don't even know if the music artist, he was an unknown independent music artist, so I don't even know if he's gonna even have enough lawyers to even be able to really sue Cardi B like that. But he basically went on social media basically saying that he want his check or whatever for the music that he basically just gave to her for free or whatever. I mean, I feel like this happens a bit too often. It was something else that happened like this at the end of last year with another artist. They came up with a song and then somebody else was making a claim and saying like, that's my song. What was it? Oh, Tory Lanez had a song that came out last year and somebody was making a claim that he basically stole it from them or whatever, and was like he just wants his money and everything else. So this happens a lot. And I mean, honestly, the thing that I noticed in this past generation, just in general, is that this generation seems to sample a lot of old songs and try to make it new. And I don't know, maybe this thing was going on back in the day, 30 years ago. I don't know. But I mean, I know it was popular for like people back in the day to keep re-recording the same song covers, like singers and stuff like that. But it's kind of different when you have like this generation where it's like, it seems like every artist is just like stealing from somebody or like recreating something that's already been created. So yeah, so that's basically what it is with Cardi B. They're a legend, but I don't know. I don't think it's her fault. I think her team is just so damn big at this point that Cardi B don't have time to check all that stuff. And I think she should, but I mean, she's doing so many different things. She actually, they said that she just got signed up for a new movie role and all this different stuff that she's working on, that she doesn't actually have the time to make sure that her music isn't being stolen. Or she ain't stealing nobody else's music. Listen, I don't make the news, I just report it. Okay, listen, yeah, that's what they basically trying to say. But anyway, I like the music video. I like Cardi's song that she put out, whatever. It's fun or whatever. It's a nice little head bop, whatever. I mean, to me, I feel like the song came out at the wrong time. Like, this song make you want to go out to clubs and stuff, and it's the winter time. But I guess when you dealing with COVID-19 and shit all day every day, I guess it's like she could have dropped it in the summertime. People still wouldn't be able to go out and really shake their ass. But you know what, honestly, I think it might just be up north where people are really quarantined, kind of like more indoors, and it's because it's so many people that's just indoors. And this, to me, I think it's because it's so cold. Like right now we're in the middle of a freaking terrible winter storm right now, which is making me just be like, fuck it, you might as well sit here and produce content, because there's nothing else for you to really do. Like, you might as well just go ahead and get on the microphone and talk shit to your viewers, because there's really nothing else for you to really do. But anyway, they said Beyonce also just dropped her promotional commercial for her winter line that's supposed to be coming out at the end of this month. And it's interesting because winter is supposed to be over soon, so it's like Beyonce is still unveiling this winter stuff. But I mean, shoot, I mean, we live up here up north where I'm at. It's cold all day every day, so I think that we should be able to still be able to take advantage of those clothes for a while, because it's like literally 2 seasons here. It's either hot or it's cold. It's that's pretty much it. They only give you 2 seasons. It's hot or it's cold up in this bitch. It's never like, oh, it's a beautiful, I don't know, we don't get fall, spring, winter, summer. We get hot for 2 months and then cold the rest of the time. So I mean, I feel like if you live in up north like I do, you might still want to go ahead and get that Ivy Park, because the winter time is basically all year round where we're at anyway. So I don't see why not go ahead and get it. What else has been going on in the news, man? Man, it's been such a dry news week. You know why, you guys? Because I've been out here pumping out content like the Mad Hatter, okay? I've been out here publicizing stories. I've been out here recording podcasts. I've literally given you guys, up until right now, I've given you guys 5 hours worth of podcasts, you guys. I've been going hard with this freaking podcast. And, you know, it takes a lot of time to get this all together, man. It really does. It's, you know, but I'm determined to really grow this platform, because nothing builds overnight. Like, you have to really put in the work and the time to do this, right? And right now it's like almost 4 in the morning. I had to take a pause from recording because my battery died. So I had to get everything reset up, and I'm back on here talking back on the microphone. You know what I'm saying? This is just how I do my work, and this is how I do my production. I'm going to have the audio for this up tomorrow, and then the visuals I'm gonna have to edit it and produce it for y'all and have it up on YouTube hopefully by Monday, Sunday night, something like that. It depends on how everything is looking at anything else, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, let me go through some more news that I had. So it looked like Kanye West and Kim Kardashian is gonna go ahead and get the divorce. Now I'm getting tired of hearing this story because this story is always circulating, and it's always a thing where he's saying, oh yeah, you know, they keep on saying, like, his team keep coming out putting out statements and putting out stories. And one story that had got me was they were talking about how Kanye West had recently moved like 500 pairs of shoes and sneakers out of Kim Kardashian's home that he shares with her. And everybody from the team and everybody else is basically saying that, you know, he's in the process of moving it, and they're basically preparing to make a final announcement of them getting a divorce. These are two articles. These are with the two different articles that I publicized on my website. Now, my thing is, it's just like, go ahead and announce it. If y'all gonna get a divorce, why is all this publicity? Like, the Kardashians and Kanye West love publicity. Like, they figure out any type of way to just stay within the headlines for people to remember who they are. We're not gonna forget who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, just save us all the melodramatics and all that shit, and like, just put together one statement and say we getting a divorce and keep pushing forward. Now it's kind of sad because they got like 4 kids together, and now the fact that they're getting a divorce, it's like, dang, you done had like 4 freaking kids. But Kanye been really wilding since last year, so honestly, I'm not shocked. I was surprised that the marriage lasts as long as it has so far. If they don't get a divorce, I mean, more power to them. I don't really don't know, because as soon as you think that the relationship is going to end, all of a sudden they're coming back and they're seeing them at different locations and stuff like that. So allegedly they're saying that they're supposed to be pending on the divorce. Allegedly, sources are saying, from the sources that I have and the articles that I read and stuff like that, that they're basically preparing, and that's People Magazine, basically saying they're preparing a joint statement very soon to let the world know that they are moving forward with the divorce. And Kanye West is basically trying to file first. Allegedly, they're talking about he wants to file first before Kim Kardashian. I don't know if that means he's going to get the upper hand in court and keep him from having to pay alimony, but Kim Kardashian is coming out with definitely getting a bag to add on top of her other bags that she already has, because Kanye and her has 4 kids. So there's no way that this divorce is just going to be an even split. That's not going to happen. But you know, of course, Kanye West could be whatever he want, delusional, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that's pretty much what that is, that situation right there. Are y'all shocked that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West relationship lasts that long, man? Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to talk about some music features of the week right now. We're going to talk about those joints that y'all need to definitely check out, because it's been a lot of artists. This is the first quarter, so a lot of artists are dropping new music. So I'm going to read up some of the music. And you know, the funny thing is that I said that last show that I was going to start doing like more like music-based stuff and like talking about new releases. And you know, like I said before, shout out to Love B. Scott. They decided to put up a list of songs that just got released in the urban world. So I'm going to read that down and tell you guys all about it. And let's get into it. All right. So we're going to talk about some new music that just been released. I know, like I told you guys before, I want to more so start doing like discussing new records that's coming out and stuff like that. And I said that on my last podcast, and Love B. Scott made it a little bit more easier, because ironically, Love B. Scott website actually made a Music Friday post basically talking about all of the new music releases that just came out. So of course, on my podcast, I'm not playing nobody's music. I don't want to have any type of legal issues with playing anybody's music and stuff like that. I know sometimes, of course, you can put down a playlist and report it to BMI and all them other people, but I really don't want to deal with that and all the legalities of that, so I'm not going to be playing any music. And especially on YouTube, you know damn well I can't play no music on YouTube, okay, because they'll snatch my channel back with the quickness, because you know they like terminating people's accounts. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So it's some new music that just came out, and most of these music songs are from people from the urban world and stuff like that, hip-hop and R&B. So this is a nice, good selection. This came from lovebscott.com, and of course I'm going to continue on making my own selections. These are last week I made my own selections. This week he happened to put out some ones that just a ton of new music and stuff like that. It just came out during the past week. So the first song that has been released out recently is Chris Brown and G-Eazy. So it's G-Eazy, Chris Brown, and Mark Morrison, and they basically took this sample from Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac, on this joint. The classic, everybody know that song. Return of the Mac, da, 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 Return of the Mac, da, da, da. You know that song. Everybody know that song. They did a nice sample of that, and they just released that. So y'all listen to that and y'all tell me what y'all think about that single. Another single just came out on the heels of course, the Versus battle. Keisha Cole has finally released a brand new song. It's called I Don't Want to Be in Love with You. Yeah, so that's a new song. Whatever, I listen to it. It has a nice little start to it. I'm gonna really try to get more into the song and see, you know. Yeah, Keisha Cole's usually Keisha Cole's usually don't disappoint when it comes to Keisha Cole's usually don't disappoint when it comes to her records and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that her record should be pretty cool, whatever. She just put that out. You guys need to go check that out too. What else we got here? We got some more on here too. Let me just see. Yeah, a long list. My phone is dying, y'all. Freddie Gibbs. He got a new single called Gang Signs with the rapper Schoolboy Q. All right, that junk just dropped. I haven't listened to it, but that's also Vic Mensa just dropped a new song as well, called Shelter. Megan Thee Stallion, of course, she's always on her gridiron. She got I Am King featuring Savage. That's a new song that just came out. And of course, she got a Polo G got a new single out as well called GNF. Okay. That track just got released. You got new singles from her with the song called Fight For You. It's for the new movie Judas and the Black Messiah. So that's from a soundtrack. It's a song from a soundtrack. Flo Mill got the new visuals out for his Roaring 20s song. And then Robin Thicke has a song that he just released called Lucky Star. So it's been a while since we heard from Robin Thicke, but it says that he's going to be coming out with a new album on February 12th, which is basically next week, right in time for Valentine's Day. So Robin Thicke knows what he's doing. He knows he always make those baby maker classics, so it would only make sense for him to release his EP 2 days before the baby making begin on Valentine's Day. So he got that coming out. And Ice Cube, oh you guys, I forgot Ice Cube. Ice Cube, I got to talk about Ice Cube actually. This is gonna lead me to my next topic. Before I go back to Ice Cube and his song, let's go to Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey just dropped another bundle of remix EPs, this time honoring her 2008 personal favorite. That's what Peace got, personal favorite. Okay, so it says she basically made a deluxe bundle for E=MC². Okay, she did some remixes on there, so if you guys want to hear some remix of that album, check it out. It's available right now. And then lastly, we got Ice Cube. He just put out a new song called Trying to Maintain. And Ice Cube has not let his foot off people's neck in regards to trying to get reparations. He had a lot of controversy coming towards him because he decided to have discussions with Donald Trump in regards to getting black people reparations for slavery and all these other things. And Ice Cube has followed through and continued with his fight to try to get reparations for those who used to be, of course, those are descendants of those that are descendants of slavery. So it's basically ADO. So I think that could also include Native Americans as well, because Native Americans was enslaved, and of course they were conquered and slaughtered here in America, and then of course black people, we were enslaved up until about 170 years ago. So Basically Ice Cube was fighting for black people to get reparations and compensation for the unjust and inhumane acts that has happened to black people over the past 400 years in our enslavement, and the things that continue to happen in regards to racial discrimination, police discrimination, police brutality against black people. We had a rough year in 2020, especially for police brutality, especially with the situation with George Floyd, and this basically further sparked the idea in Ice Cube to move forward and try to get that done. So it was released that he's through the media that he's allegedly is supposed to be sitting down with Joe Biden to bring these proposals to him, since of course Donald Trump is no longer in office. And I'm just so glad that man is out of office, because it's been silent. That's all I'm glad. I'm glad that every 2 seconds that's not in my timeline about him doing whatever the heck he wants to do. Some more stuff I wanted to talk about too. Of course, I did YouTube drama last week in regards to Young Easy and Natalie Odell's brother and stuff like that. These are for the people that's on YouTube. You guys might not know. You don't watch YouTube. You might not know these people. But it looks like Young Easy is now beefing with another YouTuber named Bliss Uncensored because she basically made tweets on Twitter coming for her, because she basically was trying to say that Natalie was faking her having mental issues and mental health issues and stuff like that for the sake of them building their YouTube platform. And and a lot of people have been, making those statements basically saying that Young Easy and Natalie be faking their pranks and stuff like that. But like when Bliss Sisters gets on, it's like she specifically like try to target Easy and basically try to say negative things about Young Easy and Natalie and how they operate and build their brand. And I guess Bliss decided to call Young Easy out on allegedly faking this whole publicity stunt and drama with Natalie Odell's brother to help get more followers and stuff like that. And Young Easy decided to go on Twitter and basically say that she's basically helping Bliss Uncensored eat, and she's lucky that she's not flagging her account, which leads me back to what I was discussing earlier today, how people are really on YouTube these days trying to stop people from eating, stopping commentary people and bloggers and podcast speakers and hosts and stuff like that from talking and speaking their feelings and thoughts, and without them getting flagged. Because basically Young Easy went down to Twitter and basically saying that you lucky that I decided not to put a copyright claim on your stuff, basically flaunting about her having more money and how she's helping the other people eat, and then what I mean. And it sounds like arrogant. Like, I'm a supporter of hers. I watch Young Easy videos, I do, but it's just, I feel like she could have said things a little bit more classy and stuff like that, because honestly those people that do reviews on their videos, they're actually helping them make money at the end of the day, because they're actually promoting their channel is promoting Young Easy and Natalie Odell's channel. And granted, a lot of their viewers go to that channel and it helps to build the reaction channel, but the reaction channel is also helping to build their channel, because the people that's reacting, specifically Bliss Uncensored, she also does reviews of other people and other YouTubers that may not even know who Young Easy and Natalie Odell is, and find out about them because they go on Bliss Uncensored's page for one thing, and then they learn about them too. So I don't feel like Easy should just come out and just be like, oh yeah, I'm helping you. Everybody is helping each other in the long run with this. And I know it's a solid 5 to 6 people list that folks that do reviews and stuff on their videos. And like I said before, I'll talk about them more, because I'm an actual person who watch it, watch their commentary and stuff like that. I'm a supporter, you know what I'm saying? So, but I just be feeling like, they're just mastering the art of social media. And this is the thing about it. And I have no problem with them acting out their skits and stuff like that, because that's what they're here to do. They're here to entertain people, bring joy to people and stuff like that. Nobody's knocking them for that, but it's kind of like, a situation where sometimes the acting be bad if it is acting, and basically the commentator is basically be calling them out on it and being like, hey, I see that, I see you like getting caught up and doing bad acting and stuff like that. But how many of you guys that watch YouTube know that majority of the people that's doing these family-based or relationship-based YouTube channels, and it's like continuous pranks? I mean, at this point, you should know that it's rehearsed, because you would have to be like a complete Neanderthal, like an idiot, to be getting pranked this much and not understand that you're going to be getting pranked. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to register in the person's head like, oh yeah, they're doing a prank, let me act along. You know, it might be that might be the situation. It might be a situation where it might have been a prank on one person's half, and then they start to catch on and be like, oh yeah, I know what it is, but I'm gonna go along with it because this is how we make our money. You know what I mean? Or it could be a complete stage thing where they decided to write out a marketing plan, which is like, look, and they making their money from it, why wouldn't they have a marketing plan? You know, I have a marketing plan. You know, even though I talk about news and commentary, this whole thing is organized. I have it like, this is like clockwork, just like a rotation. I'm gonna record, I'm gonna promote, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna sell this, I'm gonna do, you know what I mean? It's just how it is when you an entrepreneur and you trying to build your brand. You gonna do what you need to do, you know what I mean, to make sure that your product gets to the right people. Like, after I record this podcast, I'm gonna edit it, I'm gonna put out the audio, from there I'm gonna promote the audio, I'm gonna this and this, I'm gonna get the visuals done, I'm gonna send the videos out. It's just how it is. It's just like clockwork. It goes around in circles, and that's how you build a brand, you know what I'm saying? But it just seems as if, you know, Easy is a bit sensitive about the situation, because, you know, she does have younger viewers that's watching their channel, so it's easier to manipulate their minds and stuff, which is fine, because you have to pick a target audience, which is very smart of her. But I feel like she went a little bit too far when she's sitting there like, you know, dragging this woman for her having an opinion. You know what I mean? It's like, you put certain things out there, people are going to have an opinion about it, you know? But I mean, she does have the right to reply back. I'm not saying that she doesn't have the right to reply back, but I'm saying that I wish she would just say her name, because like, she goes on Twitter and she gives subliminals, and I just wish she would just flat out just address Bliss Uncensored and be like, listen lady, or Diamond Dynasty, because those are the main two that always say that they're faking their skits and stuff like that. There's other ones that say it too, but I just wish she would just flat out be like, yo, Diamond Dynasty, what's the smoke? You know what I'm saying? What's up, Bliss Uncensored? Let's get this smoke. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see, you know what I'm saying? I want to see that type of, you know what I mean? I need to see that type of drama that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff I want to see. Okay, I want to see, like, y'all Easy address these people. Y'all, you half-ass addressing them on Twitter. Everybody know who you talking about. You might as well go ahead and be like, girl, you the one I'm talking about. Okay? You the one I got a problem with. All right? And this is why. Like, you know what I mean? But I guess maybe she's not trying to do all that. But I feel like, you know, when you making a brand, there's going to be people that talk about you. I mean, shit, they're famous enough on YouTube that I talk about them. Like, why not? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I talk about celebrity news and stuff like that. They happen to be YouTube social celebrities or social influencers. So sometimes you're going to be added to the topic of discussion. That don't mean that, you know, that takes away less from me as a creator. You just happen to be one of the many topics that I'm talking about. And that basically the point that Bliss Uncensored was basically trying to say is that Young Easy and Natalie isn't her only videos. But I have to be honest and say, like, honestly, for me, looking at her videos, the past 5-6 videos that have been uploaded to her channel has solely been on Young Easy and Natalie Odell. And also I personally seen her complain about her viewers not watching her other videos. So Easy kind of do have a point when she's saying, like, she's helping y'all eat or whatever, because it's like majority of the videos that you upload, you know what I mean? But Bliss did show proof that Easy and Natalie wasn't her highest viewed video. She said that she get higher views from the other dude, LeVar, or whatever dude name is. But it's just a bunch of YouTube drama and messiness. It's just like, everybody go ahead and get a bag. At the end of the day, I feel like if you're trying to build your platform, it shouldn't be solely on one individual and stuff like that, because especially if you put in clips of their shit inside your videos, it's a possibility that they might flag you. You don't want your shit to get flagged, so you gotta start coming with more commentary or something, or, you know, you just gotta figure it out, man. Like, honestly, y'all tell me what y'all think about the whole situation. Yeah, but that's just crazy as heck. It's just messy. And that's the thing about YouTube. And let me get finished talking about just being a YouTuber in general and the difficulties when you're trying to build a brand and YouTube. and podcast. Yeah, but you know, I'm kind of like on the bridge in between, like, you know, with doing the YouTube and stuff like that. I'm definitely trying to build my channel, but all at the same time, I am more so like trying to focus on building my podcast overall, audio wise and stuff like that, because that honestly, that's really where the bag really is. Like, people think it's gonna be on YouTube, but YouTube is funny and they can just take your shit down every time. So anybody that's out there, my advice to you, if you're trying to build a brand in a podcast, make sure you have multiple outlets. Don't just rely on YouTube, because YouTube is not reliable and they can just take your shit off anytime. So like, my personal experience is they demonetized me, and then I seen them delete Funky Dineva's account. My best advice to anybody that's out there trying to do a YouTube channel is be smart. Save all of your videos, put them on hard drives, make sure that you have them on deck, because YouTube might try you and demonetize you and then tell you to send proof that you own your videos. That's what they did to me. Just try to make sure that you have all your ducks in order before you try to join doing YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It can be a great experience, you know, being able to make income and stuff like that. But, you know, times have changed. You know, so many YouTubers out there that's made millions and millions of dollars. But like, with all of these new regulations and stuff like that, like I had heard about basically how Facebook got in trouble for tracking people. Like, for how many people out here that got iPhones, right? And Androids, Facebook be tracking. You ever be on your phone and you notice that like you go from one app to the next and it's similar ads or stuff like that, or you say something like, oh, I want pizza, and then all of a sudden you see in your ad thing Pizza Hut coming up on Instagram or Google or wherever you're at. Well, it was a thing that basically came out that said that they be tracking us on Facebook. Facebook goes off after you get off your Facebook app. If you have a Facebook app, it follows you everything else you do in your phone, which is crazy, hella illegal, yo. Like, they doing that. So now it's like protocols that you gotta sign off on Facebook. So look into that, y'all, man, because it's a lot of people losing their privacy these days. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the web and how things get down is people just have no privacy. And it's one thing if you trying to track what people like while they're on your app, but when you're off the app, they're still tracking you so they can keep marketing their ads and shit all over whatever platform that you're on, because Instagram and Facebook is basically the same now because they bought each other out, right? So it's just, you just gotta watch the people, like, and how this government and everybody else get down, yo. You just, because like it's just a lot of stuff that be going on. I don't want to get too much into it, like, for real, but I mean, it definitely been out on the news about it, and they, you know, this would be a good time for you to get an iPhone, because they said that iPhone is putting in regulations that you have to get the iPhone carrier's permission to go through their phone and stuff like that. They want to be followed on app to app to get advertisement, but Androids don't have that. So if you are an Android user, good luck. We don't know when that rule is going to change, but you might want to get a petition done right now, because basically they have access to everything that you're doing. Okay, they can just go from one platform to the next platform. Whatever you're into, they're going to know about it. You have no privacy. And I mean, I can't say that we're shocked, because we're literally carrying cell phones, aka cameras, portable cameras around with us all day. So of course they're watching, but it's creepy. It's spyware. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all, outside of that, I'm about to wrap off and end it for tonight, y'all. I just wanted to do a part 2 and basically like do an update with the whole Tiny and T.I. situation, because that was a hot mess, and you know what I'm saying, and just talk about a few hot topics for this episode, man. And of course, usually I try to go for a whole 2 hours. I gave y'all roughly an hour and a half, whatever. It's like 4:30 in the morning, and I think I went through all my topics today. I'm gonna be back in a few days with another 2-hour podcast, you guys, where we're gonna sit and talk about a lot of different hot topics and everything else. But if you enjoyed this podcast, you enjoyed listening to my voice, you enjoyed me talking and everything else, or this is the first time you heard my podcast, check out my other podcast so y'all can get my full energy of my 2-hour show when I really get into it, y'all. And of course, I do celebrity interviews and stuff like that. Check out my previous shows where I've interviewed Don Robinson from In Vogue. I've interviewed Dr. Dre of Yo MTV Raps, Speech of Arrested Development, a lot of throwback artists, 112, formerly of Bad Boy Records. I've interviewed a lot of people, and I also interviewed a lot of independent talent, If you guys like new music and stuff like that, I have interviews with those people as well. So go ahead, go to my website, djjericapod.com. Of course, that's where all the gossip and all of the tea be up at. Okay, follow it. It's a follow button on the right side of the corner. Just press that, put your email listed on there, and get added to the email list. So every time I put a post or breaking news up, you will be first alerted. And I'm just asking you guys to make sure you follow me on all social medias at the DJ J Erica Podcast, at DJ J Erica. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Much love. Peace.